Okay, so this is the first time I have ever done anything like this. I have usually been making anime content like the entire time I've been doing this channel, specifically geared towards Mushoku Tensei, which is a specific series in anime, but it's been a while since we've gotten content for that. So, WWE. Now, many of you who are used to my channel don't really watch WWE. You typically view it outsider looking in as just some like weird cacophony of random violence and just weird shit just happening. People chucking chairs at each other, maybe a few kendo sticks, maybe just tossing people into tables, and that's like the most you see from WWE. Occasionally you see the John Cena meme and you're all good, you get the main picture of outside looking in. But once you're in it, oh boy. The actual side of wrestling that I have grown interested in is not so much what happens on TV, but is really what happens backstage. Backstage is crazy. Hey man, what's up? Backstage is a nuts place. You can have actual beef happen backstage, and sometimes you won't know a lot about it. But for a specific case, specifically with WWE, you don't hear a lot about it. But there's also another show. There's also another show called AEW, All Elite Wrestling, that just recently debuted in 2019 or so. This brand, this wrestling company, started out with a few indie guys starting up a company as an alternative to WWE because, well, the writing at WWE at the time was really bad. Let's just say it right there and there. It was bad. You just had really cringe moment after cringe moment, really obviously geared towards children. And then occasionally you get the weird sex innuendo that just felt awkward, and it's like, I thought this was a kid's show, man. And then it immediately goes back to weird shit, real weird cringy shit. I'd say the way why CM Punk returned. I'll get to that in a sec. There's a lot of people who are into my channel that are not involved with wrestling at all, and I just want this to be as easy to approach as possible. So where was I? Oh yeah. So AEW, All Elite Wrestling, I'll be referring to it as AEW from now on. It started off as a very simple show, very acrobatic wrestling, and really edgy, a lot more adult favored than WWE was, and it was a good alternative, really good. Eventually they started signing WWE guys who left WWE like in spite of them or something like that. It was either like creative differences or just being let go in general. It could be a whole slew of things. One of the guys that they signed back in 2021, 2022, I'm not 100% sure. There's a guy named CM Punk, Phil Brooks. Phil Brooks is his real name. CM Punk is his wrestler name. This guy wrestled with WWE for a long time back in the 2000s, before 2010s. He made a name for himself, but never really got to the main event picture. Not that much. He was very good on the microphone. He really did well at conveying his character to the audience. He was really, really interesting. And at times he was a bit of an edgy character, and no matter what WWE gave him in terms of like what type of character that he did, he was really good at selling it. He did a really good job at selling his character, making it believable to the audience, no matter what. There was one time where he did like an anti-drug, like straight edge gimmick where I'm straight edge and I'm better than you sort of deal. Like he's better than everyone else in the arena, and he somehow managed to pull that off really well. It was a weird gimmick, but it did well. Eventually, his contract was coming to a close in 2011, and he was at the time in a feud with John Cena. He then cut a pipe bomb promo. I'm used to talking in wrestling terms here. He then made a speech at WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw, sometime before a pay-per-view called Money in the Bank. That doesn't really matter. Sometime in 2011, he did a TV show, and it was on the TV show. He said his grievances with the WWE. He talked about how the whole system was corrupt, and he did not like anything that was going on. He talked about how John Cena was really good at kissing ass with Vince McMahon, the owner and like a general manager or whatever at the time, and that they favored really, really big guys over like all the little guys sort of deal. And they never really give anyone a chance there. That was like his main grievance with them. And he vented that live on TV for everyone to see. And at the end of the promo, that's what the speech is called, a promo, he then said, I have a contract that's ending at the end of the next pay-per-view, and I will win the WWE Championship and walk out of there. Obviously, it's scripted, and obviously, like, if he continues to go with WWE, he has a chance of winning it, but if he's not resigning, he's not going to win the championship. He's not going to walk away with it, obviously. He then wins the championship. Obviously, they re-signed him from the looks of it, and he comes back a little bit later on a 4-ish year deal. And basically everything that he said at the time was kind of put to the side due to the money aspect of it. They also signed Brody Lee and Samoa Joe. Also ripped Brody Lee. Yeah, true. Jeez, man, that was sad. Anyway, I'm getting carried away here. The reason why I'm not reading chat right now is because I need to get this story across. So with this 4-year deal, eventually, all the way to 2015, he eventually took so many injuries, and he was not really well kept. The medical staff at WWE didn't really treat him that well, and because of his anger, because of how bad like his whole situation was, he left. And he later did a podcast with his friend at the time named Colt Cabana that really just showed how corrupt the place was, and showed he was obviously very mad at the WWE, and he really did not like all the politics involved over there, not giving him a shot at anything really, and not putting him in the main event because, well, The Rock was there, and why wouldn't you put The Rock in the main event instead of CM Punk? So yeah, leaving in 2014. Can't believe that was 9 years ago. Yeah, it was a while ago. I thought it was like 2015. Maybe it was 2014. Actually, it was 2014. It was 2014. Sorry, it's been a while, and I wasn't really watching wrestling at the time. This is all secondhand information. So he spent some time alone outside of wrestling. He left the WWE. He spent some time alone and eventually tried out UFC for a bit. Didn't really go well for him. Obviously, he didn't do like MMA like his entire life, so he's not going to be standing up to the professionals. I didn't expect much out of him, to be honest, in the UFC. He's not a really athletic guy when it comes to that. So later, he makes his debut with AEW, All Elite Wrestling. And that was in 2022, 2021. It was a long time after, 7-ish years later after leaving the WWE, which is a huge deal. He's since gained like internet notoriety with every single mark, every single huge fan of wrestling knows about CM Punk and like his grievances with the WWE and the anti-establishment message that he's been putting on. Throughout his time in AEW, he's got into a lot of fights with some of the people backstage. Whether that's a guy named Hangman Adam Page who talked about how he was not a locker room leader and how he doesn't deserve to be a champion or something like that. He took personal offense to that, and he vented it out later. But at the same time, he did put on a lot of good feuds with people like MJF and, well, Hangman Adam Page. That was a decent feud. My thoughts on his on this one is probably a 6 or 9 out of 10. 6 or 7 out of 10. Yeah, that's about right on this pay-per-view anyway. Yeah, I'll get to that. And he is very good at wrestling. I will not take that away from him. For his age, for how rusty he was at the time, he was very good in the ring, and he didn't lose any talent on the microphone, and he was able to sell a match to the audience, convey his point through speeches very well. And it was fun. It was very fun watching him in AEW, but last time his WWE was actually good as 2010 stuff. He was very good. He was very good in AEW, but there was a match that he had with Jon Moxley. He used to be known as Dean Ambrose in WWE, but now he's named Jon Moxley in AEW. Whatever, it's not really important. I believe it was All Out or All In. I don't know. There was a pay-per-view in AEW that he wrestled in for the main event, and he won the AEW championship. He tore something in his shoulder in the match. It wasn't really conveyed properly at the time, but he was obviously hurt, and he definitely was not going to be wrestling for much longer after that. Well, he definitely wasn't going to be wrestling for a while after that match ended. So then there was a post-match interview, media press conference after the event. And history repeating itself, he then vented about the executives at AEW, talking about how all of them are a bunch of little kids, and he talked a lot of shit about Hangman Adam Page, talked a lot of shit about people like Kenny Omega, who's an executive vice president, mainly talking about Hangman Adam Page, mainly talking about the Young Bucks, who are also executive vice presidents, and he went ballistic on them. History repeating itself, he was a loudmouth, as World Mapper says in the chat. Yeah. Don't worry, I got you on the correction. He was a loudmouth. I'm going to put the chat here. He was definitely a loudmouth. He talked a lot of shit about anyone you could possibly talk about. And right next to him was the owner of AEW, named Tony Khan. He's a billionaire dude, whatever. He's rich enough to make his own whole wrestling promotion, and he just let him vent on the microphone forever, not once letting him get away from the mic, or did not once stop the press conference early or anything like that. He just let him vent and continue to pull grudges on everyone backstage. It was bad. A lot of drama started because of it. So much so, in fact, that immediately after the press conference, he immediately got into a fight with a bunch of the executive vice presidents. There was one of CM Punk's friends bit a guy named Kenny Omega. There was a chair thrown. A bunch of stuff happened. And then there were, at times, CM Punk's camp rumored that his dog got hit in the head by a door that was slammed open. That turned out to be false. There was a lot of shit that went down, but there was one thing that was said that I'm pretty sure was unanimous, that the executive vice presidents went into CM Punk's locker room and then the fight happened. Whether or not CM Punk started that one, I'm not 100% sure. So both parties got suspended. The executive vice presidents also got suspended by Tony Khan, and CM Punk got suspended by Tony Khan. And it doesn't really matter. CM Punk was injured anyway. The vice presidents, they were only suspended for around a few months, maybe a few weeks. I can't remember 100%. I'm pretty sure it was a few months though. And CM Punk came back around 8 months later ish, kind of around that time. But to bring him back, to convince him to come back, Tony Khan started a whole new wrestling show on Saturday nights called AEW Collision. This show was initially started to bring awareness to new or different AEW stars that don't have much screen time. The only times that they have on TV are like 2 hours on Wednesday on a show called AEW Dynamite. AEW Collision was supposed to highlight new different stars, people like Miro, people like Powerhouse Hobbs, people like some other guys. There's a lot on their roster that they don't use, like Brody Lee and Andrade and all that stuff. And I was leaving for vacation. Oh damn. So AEW Collision started. This was a very good show, very good first few shows, but the main highlight around it all was that CM Punk is returning after all the drama and stuff that happened. Now, why start a whole new show with him? Well, mainly it was to separate Kenny Omega and Young Bucks, the executive vice president's group, from CM Punk's group, to divide the two and have CM Punk and his friends work on one show and that other group and their friends work on the other show. Now, you might be asking, if you're not into wrestling, why accommodate that much for CM Punk? Why make a whole other show just to make CM Punk happy? I'm not 100% sure either, but if you're going to make a show around a single wrestler, that wrestler is probably going to be CM Punk, but because he is that big of a deal, and he is a ratings draw and a half. So he is a ratings draw and a half. He is very, very good at pulling in ratings because he is very interesting and he has a lot of fans. So now you might be saying, why is he in WWE now? They made a whole other show around him. Well, there's this guy named Jack Perry. He is a young wrestler who was wrestling on Collision at the time. He wanted to do a spot. A spot is like a wrestling stunt. He wanted to do a stunt with real glass, running into real glass, but CM Punk did not like that. He's a professional. He's had a lot of experience with WWE. He knows how to do these kind of stunts. And he told him, Jack, what are you doing? You should be using fake glass. It looks the same. It's a lot safer. Why are you doing that? This is just a pride thing. And Jack Perry wanted to use real glass. CM Punk had the authority to prevent him from doing real glass. I don't know how, but he eventually did not use real glass in that segment that he wanted to do. That built up a lot of tension backstage between him and CM Punk, and eventually escalated to the point where, in one of the biggest pay-per-views of AEW, All In at Wembley Stadium, almost sold out, mind you, with 80,000 tickets sold, 60,000 people there because of scalpers. With all those tickets, with all those people in the pre-show, Jack Perry did a stunt on a car right in front of the camera. He said, "Come over here, look at this." He slapped the car windshield, slapped it, and said, "Real glass. Go eat a dick," or something. I don't know what he said after, but he was obviously upset about the glass situation, and he made it publicly known. Now, this was a stupid decision, but you would think that CM Punk is a professional. He wouldn't do anything to like hurt Jack Perry in any way. Well, no, he got him in a chokehold as soon as he went backstage. What? CM Punk had a match immediately after. What? And then it turns out one of the things that's rumored was that he lunged at Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, during the scuffle. And apparently, lunge is being generous at what happened. We don't really know 100% what happened, but that's what is being said. He lunged at his boss. There's one thing you do at a job, is that you don't fight your boss. The next week, they had another pay-per-view show in Chicago, CM Punk's hometown. Right before that show, they said that due to fear of my own life, Tony Khan said that I was in fear of my own life backstage, and because of that, we are terminating CM Punk. We are firing CM Punk. He is no longer a part of AEW. Oh, heck no, never fight your boss? Yeah, dude, hell no. So, that is the situation. There's been almost nothing said on CM Punk's part about that. Now, today, that last thing happened in August. He had a 3-month non-compete clause, and it's November. It's been 3 months. WWE scheduled a pay-per-view a while ago, before this whole CM Punk thing started, for a Survivor Series pay-per-view to happen in Chicago. Again, CM Punk's hometown. This is big. Chicago's like a really big CM Punk crowd. He goes in. I should say, WWE starts this show off, and it's a normal show. It's built around the fact that Randy Orton's going to return in the main event, which is great. Great news for everybody, right? No. During the entire show, the Chicago crowd, being the fans that they are, were chanting CM Punk all the time. It's obvious that WWE production turned them down because it didn't seem likely that CM Punk was going to show up today. It didn't seem likely. I know all the signs that I said in the beginning point to, hey, he might return. It wasn't looking out that way because they hinted towards the fact that Randy Orton was returning and not CM Punk. They even announced that Randy Orton was going to return. And it entirely built up to the main event. Even though the crowd was chanting CM Punk, WWE production obviously turned them down to prevent any hype or whatever for normal audiences. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, thankfully, you're not going to be into this drama so much. Randy Orton comes out, everyone's excited. Almost everyone forgets about CM Punk almost immediately. I didn't hear a single CM Punk chant after Randy Orton came out, and it was an epic spot. Randy Orton was great in the main event. I had no issues with Randy Orton at all. He was great. I kept hearing CM Punk crowd, but I was like, I don't think he'll return anytime soon. Yeah, I know. I'll do my rant after summarizing this whole thing. So Randy Orton did his thing, and then after the match ended with Randy Orton and his friends hands up in the air, we won, guys. We won, Patrick. We did it, Patrick. We saved the city. Oh no, the fuck you didn't. CM Punk's music started and the crowd went nuts, and the show went off the air with CM Punk celebrating with the crowd. Great. The problem is, CM Punk's a dick, and I don't think he deserves a fucking job. Honestly, with the shit that he pulled and the shit we've heard he pulled, granted, I don't know that much. I don't know. I didn't hear that much about CM Punk. And I mean, who am I? A random anime YouTube channel to talk about this whole wrestling situation. Who am I? A random guy with only 1,000 subscribers. Only. Why do I say only? But compared to all these actual journalists with like hundreds upon hundreds, thousands of subscribers and all this stuff, and their entire production team, how come all of them? How can me, a guy who barely talks about wrestling, say that CM Punk does not deserve a fucking job? I don't know 100% what happened, but like I said, if you lunged at your boss, if you fought your boss, if you got one of your coworkers in a chokehold, and you've had a history of fighting people backstage to the point where there used to be no drama leaking in AEW, and ever since CM Punk came into the ring, a bunch of drama started and a bunch of drama leaked to the press. How? I don't fucking know. It seems like CM Punk started all of this. Wow, crazy. Now, there is one cool thing. We went to Shell City and got the down plankton. Oh my gosh. We got the crown plankton. Now, I am very not into WWE that much anymore. Recently they've had a change in writers, and I thought things were going to turn out for the better. It really hasn't changed much, and I'm kind of disappointed with that. But with CM Punk around, it is admittedly very interesting, and I will be watching Raw next week. But that does not mean anything long term. Because holy shit, if I hear another one of those fucking complaints backstage, I am probably gonna tune out every single time CM Punk's on screen, except for the times that the world title's in the picture. But I am just a one person. I do not account for the 2 million people that watch SmackDown every week, or the around 2 million people that watch Raw every week. I'm not all of them. I don't say, my stance does not represent all of them. And more than likely, this return will spike ratings a lot, probably by a few 100,000 or so every week. I don't know what they'll mean in the long term, but for a decent while, it will spike the ratings. I can see why they did it. I can see why they did a business move. But the one positive out of all of this, compared to AEW, WWE has a system that they've constructed over the course of 50 or so, 40 or so years. They've had their neck in this game for a while. They've dealt with people who are stupid, like Ric Flair, and they've dealt with people who are crazy, like fucking CM Punk already, with the shit that he's pulled before. And one thing that is very different from AEW and WWE is that you barely hear any backstage rumors or barely any backstage drama with WWE. The most you've heard recently from WWE in terms of backstage drama is that people don't really like Seth Rollins, their current champion, all that much. Oh no, it's not that bad. It's not that not that many rumors get out. If there was actually something that happened, we didn't hear about it. And that's one thing that WWE does really well. They keep people in line. And there are a lot of people who can keep CM Punk in line in WWE. Not so much with AEW. AEW, there was like one or two guys. One guy named Sting, who is a very, very, very experienced wrestler who probably has CM Punk's respect, who could probably calm down CM Punk if he wanted to. Then again, CM Punk's a very valiant guy because he put his coworker in a chokehold, and Steen's very old. So I'm not sure if that would be a wise decision for Steen. But anyway, there's also like Mark Henry, Chris Jericho. There are a few notable guys in AEW that could calm him down and could like actually like humble him. The problem is that's not enough. And the owner, Tony Khan, is an obvious fan of CM Punk and obviously did a lot to keep CM Punk on this roster and was desperate to keep him on because he was a ratings draw. Whether people like it or not, whether people like to construe and disillusion everything, whether people like to lie or not, CM Punk was a ratings draw in AEW. His show Collision originally averaged around 500,000 viewers every week, and now it's 300,000, 200,000 ever since he left. You could say that was just because the show has been aging a while, but AEW Dynamite, the other show, has kept a pretty consistent 800,000 for a while now. I don't know. And it did spike whenever CM Punk was on. So I'm pretty sure that CM Punk is a ratings draw. And Tony Khan did whatever it took to keep him in line. Did whatever it took to keep him on the roster. And he was obviously a fan of his. He was geeking out. But you could just tell that he was doing everything he could to keep him happy just by the first press conference I talked about when he vented on everyone backstage. And he did not do shit. He just stood there, kept quiet, and just said, "Well, I hope you're good now. I hope that all this situation is alleviated now, and I can't wait for the next show." While CM Punk is just venting on literally everyone. Jack Perry, I guess not Jack Perry at the time, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Hangman Adam Page, fucking I work with fucking children sort of deal, sort of shtick. How dare you not take advice from your elders, even though you said you do, but you just don't take them as highly as your own thoughts. Well, whatever. Taking things out of context is fun, That's what drama's all about. Maybe I'm taking things out of context too, but I try my best to summarize things to the best of my abilities. CM Punk is probably going to do fine in WWE. CM Punk is probably going to do great things in WWE and probably increase the ratings a lot and probably, just get more attention in WWE in general. I know a few of my friends that used to watch WWE that no longer do and are big fans of CM Punk, and this will probably bring them back. And this is... Oh my gosh, man. I'm sorry. This is just a crazy situation. Things will probably be fine for CM Punk because unlike AEW with Tony Khan and all those young guys who can't really humble CM Punk and hold down his ego in a tiny box and tell him to stop fighting with people and stop raising shit backstage and just get along with people. Instead of doing that, there's a lot. It's a lot likely for WWE to do that. One, because of the guy that just returned, Randy Orton, a big, very muscular, very strong-looking guy who it does not take shit from a lot of people, to be frank. And there's also the head, Triple H. He's had a lot of experience with WWE and, shitty wrestlers, and he's used to calming them down and humbling them. they're a lot more business savvy than AEW, honestly. Well, maybe not business savvy in the sense they're a lot more street smart than AEW, I should say. Tony Khan's a good businessman, but not street smart. It's obvious from that one press conference. Bray Wyatt saved WWE. I miss Bray too. Bray Wyatt increased it by 40%. That is a big range draw. Jeez, though. I don't know if that was going to be long term though. Anyway, CM Punk will probably do great in WWE. CM Punk will probably do wonderful things and probably increase the ratings a lot. I'm not sure if I can get behind something like this. I'm not sure if I can get behind someone who's constantly raised drama, started drama, leaked drama, got in fights, put people's lives at risk. I don't know how much Tony Khan exaggerated that. I don't know if I could support someone who did that stupid shit. I watched this wrestling event with my dad, and as we were very happy, we heard the rumors about CM Punk returning. We were very happy with Randy Orton returning, and we were talking during the match. We were like, this is so much better than CM Punk returning. Look at that. Randy Orton's so over with the crowd that no one, and I repeat, no one is chanting CM Punk. Everyone forgot about him as soon as Randy Orton turned up. And guess what? Everyone's happy. Everyone gets away scot-free. We were all happy. We didn't want any drama in our WWE. We were very comfortable with how things were now. At least my dad was. I'm not so much because I don't watch every single show. And as soon as CM Punk came out, we both groaned to oblivion. I admit, I was a bit excited. I was a bit like, yo, what the fuck in that moment? My heart was racing a little bit. But that did not stop my groan. This drama has been interesting, sure. But he is such a drama bait. It is so bad how much of a drama bait this guy is. If there's no drama that happens within the next 6 months or so, I stand corrected. CM Punk deserves a job at WWE, and hey man, good on you. But holy shit, is he a hypocrite. Holy shit, is he a hypocrite for talking shit about the whole system behind WWE and then eventually coming back, and he'll probably say he grew out of it sort of deal. We were all young sort of deal. You were 30, bro. You were older than me, man. I would consider myself basically a young gun who doesn't know much about the real world or whatever the fuck. I would consider a guy at 22 to be like that. Not a guy in his 30s. I don't think a guy in his 30s would consider himself well, we were all young, we were all in our rebellious phase, I don't know about that. I could tell that's probably what he would say, in regards to his past with WWE and talking about how things have gotten better since then. Or he's gonna do some character playing and say that things aren't better. They just paid me a lot of money. And then, yeah. In all likelihood, they probably did pay him a lot of money, and that's the reason why he's back. It's probably the reason why he's back. He can make a lot of money in WWE. More so than AEW, honestly, with the merch sales and all that. A lot of wrestlers stop in their 40s. Not famous ones, not anymore. They stop in their 50s now. It's crazy how far medical technology has gone, with LeBron and his playing the way he is at 38, 39. Jeez, it's crazy. Anyway, I'm sure things will go well with WWE. I'm sure things will go great, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's crazy how things are. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, it's very crazy. Yep. See, this guy agrees with me right here. Yeah. All right, world mapper. Ah, man. I'm just gonna give my thoughts on the rest of the show. CM Punk is gonna be fine, but it's I don't know about that one, Chief. That's all I'm gonna say. Now, starting off with the women's War Games match. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't watch it. I'm gonna be honest. I kind of like leave PLEs on for like 20 or so minutes, so that way I have like a few things to skip, like advertisements and stuff. But I didn't want to rewind and watch the War Games match. I caught like the last few minutes of it. Charlotte Flair did a pretty impressive somersault from the top rope, not gonna lie, but that manhandle slam, and this is there's going to be a bunch of jargon and stuff with WWE now. So for those of you who are into my anime content and my anime content only, yeah, you could probably stop now. I'm probably going to be talking about a lot of jargon, but you know, you can't really avoid it sometimes, you know. Man, that manhandle slam to end the War Games match was very underwhelming. It looked botched. I mean, like, I don't know why, but when women's wrestling is like weird in a sense, like you get a lot more flops than or at least the flops are a lot more noticeable in women's wrestling than it is in men's wrestling. I don't know why. I mean, I kind of do know why, but like, it's a difference in style, you know. This the somersault or whatever that Charlotte Flair did as a moonsault or something like that. I forgot the actual name of it, but it was very good. She dove off the cage and went into all those like little heels or whatever in the ring, and then dropped on them. It was fun. It was fine. I think that should have ended the match, but whatever. You know, I didn't watch the entire thing. I don't know how the pace was. Next up in the show was, I believe, Gunther and The Miz. Now, The Miz, in my opinion, has been in the WWE for a long ass time. Long ass time. And I don't think he deserves to get any offense in on Gunther because of how bad his character has been in terms of like his state and the momentum he's had in the past few years. It is not believable that he puts in any offense in on Gunther. Now, is wrestling supposed to be believable all the time? No, it's usually meant to put in like good stories and stuff. And while if they did a squash match with Gunther and The Miz, I'm not sure if that would end the storyline or continue it further, because I do not want Gunther and The Miz to fight any longer. I want it to end right then and there. So if this is the way to end a feud, good. It was a good match, though. To me, Survivor Series felt very short. I don't know why, or am I stupid? It was very short. If there were 5 matches in total, and it was 2 hours and 45 minutes long. A lot less than the usual 3. A lot less than the usual 3. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it was a bit short. This match was like around 10 to 15 minutes. At least it felt like that, and it was this match was very short. Honestly, this match was very short, and I still am in disbelief that that The Miz freaking got any offense in, but I'm glad it was short. I'm glad it was very action heavy. It was very fast paced. I did not think that The Miz would be able to do a fast paced match with Gunther, considering the fact that he's not that great of a wrestler. He's decent, but he's not the best. He did pretty well this match. I definitely would say that he's respectable. It was a respectable match. The Miz can't do anything to anyone. He's weak. He's the very weak ones. Yeah, he's one of the very weak wrestlers. I think he's a really safe wrestler from what it sounds like. I mean, he kind of admitted this in like a promo that he did against Daniel Bryan. It's like I'm a safe guy. It was like kind of a shoot sort of deal, but I feel like that's kind of prides himself in that he's a very safe wrestler. He barely ever gets injured, honestly, which is impressive. Which is very impressive. But neither is Gunther, and he puts on very good matches, or at least he doesn't get injured for long. Anyway, yeah, that match was decent. Next one was, and I can remember these because there was only 5 matches. Next match was Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar. Did not pay attention much to this match. It was like Santos Escobar has been getting interesting lately from the shit that I've seen. Again, I don't watch every single show on a week and during the week, and I missed SmackDown. Do not really care, honestly. When there's a show that happens right before a pay-per-view, the day before a pay-per-view, it's very tough to watch it because then you're going to be overexposed to wrestling and probably get sick of it by the time the main event of the pay-per-view, or PLE as they call it, comes out. I know it's not a pay-per-view, then that would assume that you pay for like each event, but no, it's on Peacock. It's on a streaming service, whatever, 5 matches does not feel real. It really doesn't for the amount of like shows that we got at AEW Full Gear, It really doesn't. I didn't watch Full Gear, but it was like 9 matches or so. And it was like 4 hours long. Like, jeez, oh, jeez. Anyway, the next match, the match with, sorry, I forgot I started already talking about Santos Escobar and Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, pretty decent wrestler. I mean, like, LWO, I'm gonna pull a hot take here. LWO is kind of shit in my opinion. LWO is kind of like it's very, I don't want people to get offended by this, but like their entire character used to be just like, I am Latino and I am proud of my heritage. All right, cool. What else do you have? What else do you have in your character? We have Rey Mysterio in our group. Very nice, bro. What else you got though? We're decent wrestlers. Good, that only gets you so far. What other stuff do you have? Bad Bunny used to be a part of us. When did that happen? May? How is that relevant now? I don't know, man. That's basically them. Their entire gimmick is, we are Latino, we are proud of our heritage. That's a good first 2 points there. But they literally have nothing else besides those 2 things. And then Santos Escobar turned heel, and recently his feud with Rey Mysterio has gone a little bit. It's a little interesting. I'd say that they are doing a pretty good job with Santos Escobar right now. Dragon Lee right now is in the situation with similar situation with LWO, but he doesn't feel nearly as trapped as everyone else in the LWO with like Selena Vega and those tag team dudes, and even Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio is basically pulling the I am Latino, I am proud of my heritage shtick. I mean, that's cool and all, but are you like a ruthless guy? Do you like cheat to win? Are you very honorable in the ring? I guess they are, but like to the point that Gunther is, where it's like the ring is sacred sort of deal. Like that's a character point. Like that's something that's unique. That's something that's like gets over. I hate cheat to win so much. Do you hate MJF then? MJF is like the good cheat to win sort of deal. Do you hate Seth Rollins and his Money in the Bank gimmick, when he had the Money in the Bank briefcase? Like I love that shit. That shit, the cowardly heel, like you could pull that shit off very well. I mean, it's been overdone, but like you could pull it off. Oh my gosh. But yeah, Dragon Lee doesn't feel as trapped as the other guys. I mean, he doesn't feel nearly as trapped as Rey Mysterio is, but the problem is, as soon as Rey Mysterio comes back from injury, he's gonna kind of like be brought into his influence. I could kind of tell that's how the WWE writers are going. He's gonna kind of honor him, and same with Carlito. He's gonna honor Rey Mysterio's legacy, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I am proud of like being a fan of Rey Mysterio. I'm proud of the nation we represent," sort of deal, or like the heritage we represent, in that part, in that shtick. And it's gonna be less and less about Santos Escobar as time goes on, and I'm gonna get sick of it, and everyone's gonna get sick of it, and everyone already hates LWO. I can already tell. They just don't want to say why, really. But yeah, I haven't. I've seen some podcasters talk about how cold LWO is, but they don't want to say it. Their gimmick is bland. All they talk about is being Latino. Cool. I mean, if I was talking, if oh my gosh, I don't want to. Fuck. I mean, I if I know how this sounds. If I said like I'm proud of being white and all that stuff, I know this would like I should use another analogy, because I know like how that would sound, and it doesn't equate to this. It doesn't equate to this because like that how that would be. What would be a good analogy? Let's say the Hurt Business was talking about how they're proud of being black and all that stuff, and that's a good point right there. That can build up a pretty decent character. And with what the Hurt Business has right now, they have a decent character. They have like a good thing going on. But take away their character what that they have right now, and just put the proud to be black sort of thing. It kind of turns into like a Disney sort of thing, you know? It kind of turns into like a blank character slate. It kind of just like, what have you built up your past few years as a wrestler in terms of character? Nothing? You're just proud of who you are in terms of genetics and like family? I mean, like everyone has that. What separates you from everyone else? What do you have that makes you different? What do you have that makes you a star in the WWE? Are you ruthless? Are you aggressive? Are you proud of putting on 5-star matches all the time? Are you a goofy heel guy like Grayson Waller who always goofs off? Are you a guy who constantly breaks the fourth wall like Kevin Owens, who just like rants a lot of the time and just wants to fight people? What makes you different from people in the crowd? Are you relatable? Cool, relate to them in more ways. LWO is a very bland group, and they need to add something more. And thankfully, Santos Escobar is a bit decent, and thankfully that it seems like they could build something off of this. And I hope that they build something more off of this. Mostly blank, it's like an unfinished movie. Yeah, but like they had this sort of deal. Oh, my ears ringing. Jeez, oh. They had this sort of deal in I'm sorry if this is gross. My ears ringing right now, and I have to stop it. It's weird. I don't know. It's still raining. It's going away, thankfully. Um, it felt like this whole LWO. I do that too. It's fine. Good. I'm glad that this is somewhat relatable and people understand. The this whole LWO, I'm Latino, I'm proud of my heritage kind of deal kind of came to a climax in Fastlane, didn't it? With Bad Bunny coming out and them fighting the Judgment Day. But they lost to the Judgment Day. Okay. How are you going to change? How are you going to get wins now? You didn't change, and now you don't have Bad Bunny on your side anymore? Wow, it seems like you just lost stuff. And Carlito, who returned for Fastlane, didn't show up until just recently. few weeks ago. That's been months in between Fastlane and then his return. What the fuck? Get something right, man. Get something right with these characters. They deserve more. Santos Escobar is a great wrestler. Rey Mysterio is a legend who deserves to be in a decent feud at the end of the day. He might be injured till WrestleMania to fight Dominic Mysterio. Again, honestly, it's probably going to be a sequel match. LWO is very bland. I don't care for them all that much. But again, Santos Escobar has potential. Anyway, next match. Zoe Stark and Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley is a very, very good champion for in the women's division. Very good champion. You're my new favorite streamer. Is it because of my LWO take? I mean, like, it's not that base. People just don't want to fucking say it. Anyway. They're all respectable. All of LWO is really, really respectable. If anyone takes this out of context, I swear. All of LWO is very, very respectable. It's just like, it's very, very cringeworthy of how their characters is so bland. Anyway, Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark, they were very good. No, it's because I like your opinions and stuff. Oh man, ugh. My opinions are shit, bro. I don't know. I think your opinions are shit too if you like mine. Oh man. Zoe Stark and Rhea Ripley. This was a good match. The problem that I have with this match is that every time Zoe Stark was in the air, she kind of tried to do a corkscrew, but it ended up like turning into a botch most of the time, which was weird. It was very, very weird. There were a lot of botches that had to do with mid-air maneuvers that Zoe Stark tried to do. Sometimes it looked pretty good. Sometimes she pulled it off pretty decent. There was one time where she did like a springboard kind of corkscrew thing. I mean, it's obvious that she didn't get her footing on the ropes all that much, but like it still looked pretty decent with the way it landed and the way it turned out. It looked pretty good. But there was a time where she was in the corner with Rhea and she kind of did similar corkscrew thing, but it ended up being like sort of a suplex, but she kind of tried to like counter it. And it looked like she got hit by the suplex, but then she no-sold it, which made me think, did she counter it? There are a lot of moments like that. There are a lot of moments that made me confused as to like who got the short end of the stick during that move. Who took the hit? Who am I supposed to believe that took the hit there? But one thing that's very refreshing from this match compared to the rest of the women's matches that I've seen lately is that this one, they did a lot of things that women's wrestlers don't usually do, mainly because of their build. But they were able to pull off really good grappling maneuvers and very good grappling techniques and stuff in this match compared to a lot of women's matches, which mainly relies on like cruiserweight-esque maneuvers. This one felt like very powerhousey, and unlike Nia Jax, most of them actually delivered, and it actually looked good. So it was a lot of. Most of the matches were confusing, kind of. Most of the spots in this match were confusing. I don't think like many of the matches that I watched today were that confusing. A lot of women's matches are confusing, I admit that. I mean, like, that's a case with, like, cruiserweight shit. But, I mean, lately, men's cruiserweights have been gotten really good with how, in terms of, like, cruiserweight moveset, we see people like Will Ospreay, who's pretty big, that uses, like, a cruiserweight moveset sort of deal in New Japan. And you see his matches, and, like, there's almost no botches at all. It's amazing that the way some people are able to do this. But you see some people in in the women's division that try to do similar things that they just no, they're not that great. I don't know. I don't know if it's a lack of talent because Rhea Ripley is able to do a lot of these things really well. Zoe Stark did a lot of these moves really well. They were able to sell super kicks very well while at the same time doing suplexes very well, while also doing springboard maneuvers very well. It was very good. I have a bad habit of saying I know a lot. I don't know why. I guess I'm saying I guess I'm probably repeating myself a lot here then. I don't know. Anyway, good match. Rhea Ripley won, obviously. I don't know what's next for her, honestly. I don't know who is gonna fight Rhea Ripley next. Because you gotta have 2 more matches till WrestleMania in terms of people for Rhea Ripley to fight. Obviously, I feel like you're probably gonna have Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. So who until then? I don't even know the women's roster, in all honesty. Shows you how much I don't watch women's wrestling. Shows you how much I skip women's wrestling, honestly. Because a lot of the matches are kind of weird. Let me see. Let me look up WWE Women's Raw roster. Let's see who we got here. Current roster. All right. Raw women. Okay, it doesn't have the. So we have Chelsea Green. Is that the Karen person? I'm not 100% sure. Indy Hartwell. Not really that into. Man, it shows you how much I'm not well versed into this because I knew Becky Lynch was a Raw superstar, but how in the world was she in the War Games match? How in the hell was she in the War Games match? Didn't that consist of mainly SmackDown wrestlers? I don't even know. Piper Niven? Is Piper Niven gonna be the next in line for Rhea Ripley's title? Oh no. Shayna Baszler, we've already done stuff with her. Valhalla. If Valhalla is the next person in line for Rhea's title, that's gonna be sad. I don't even know most of the roster on both Raw and SmackDown. I mean, like, yeah, I'd have to like pull a lot of. I'd have to be reaching for stuff in terms of like who's on what show sort of deal. I know LA Knight's on SmackDown, but sometimes he goes over to Raw. I know like Seth Rollins is on Raw. I know Roman Reigns, whenever he shows up, is on SmackDown, that sort of thing. You know, it's weird. It's weird, but like, I don't know who's next for Rhea Ripley. Liv Morgan, maybe. I mean, actually, I could kind of see that for the Royal Rumble. Like, they have some time to build something up for that. But like, am I gonna watch it? Probably not. You got Jade Cargill, who's like possibly going to be a Raw superstar, possibly an NXT superstar, you know? Possibly, but I don't know. Why am I saying superstar? Wrestler. Fucking hell, man. This WWE terminology is getting to my head, bro. It's getting to my head. They're wrestlers. What the fuck am I saying? Anyway. Oh, actually, I know who. Oh my gosh, dude. Okay, this is like actually one that I'd be excited for. Maxine Dupree as the next in line for Rhea Ripley's title. Yes, the Alpha Academy versus the Judgment Day. Put that feud in the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. PLE, whatever. Put that feud in. I'm down for that. You know, Maxine Dupree is one of the only women that actually like gets over with the crowd because of how like committed she is to her gimmick. She's one of the few women's wrestlers that I'm over with too. You know, she's very good in terms of like committing to her character and doing some. She admittedly is a pretty decent wrestler, not the best, but she's pretty decent. It's just the confidence in her character that makes up for it. I'm so down for that too. I have so many dream matches. I doubt you have many dream matches in terms of the women's division and with what Raw has right now. I mean, like Ivy Nile, who the fuck? Jackie Redmond, who? Nikki Cross and Rhea Ripley. If I have to see that feud for the next few weeks, oh my gosh, Natalia, Nia Jax, Piper Niven, Xia Li, Zoe Stark, Trish. Why is Trish Stratus on this list? Never heard of some of them? I know. I've never heard of Ivy Nile and Jackie Redmond till now. Like, who the hell? Whatever, man. Now we had the main event. Main event for WWE Survivor Series 2023. This was before the CM Punk return, and I'm not going to talk about CM Punk return after this. This match was very... It was a bit underwhelming until Randy Orton came out. But, I mean, like... Okay. I'm going to throw out my complaint right now about the War Game stipulation. Why the fuck can't anyone pin anyone before all 10 people are in the ring? I know you have to have like one come out each time, and you gotta have it make some like a sense, like. But the problem is when people come out one by one, and no one can pin anyone, and it's just supposed to be carnage until then. Well, you're not AEW. It doesn't look like you're brutalizing each other until It doesn't look like you're brutalizing each other limb from limb until the match officially starts or whatever. So like you got to put some stakes and make things somewhat interesting until all 10 people come out. Because until that point came, like I was just so disinterested in like, is anyone going to be eliminated? Oh yeah, it's War Games. No one can be eliminated. Why am I even watching this right now? Why am I even watching this until all 10 people are in? Is this supposed to be somewhat digestible until all 10 people are in? Like, bro, like I can't with this shit. I can't. It's so dumb. I mean, the last match was okay, I guess. It was good. I mean, like it was all right. I mean, there weren't any spots that was very interesting outside of like the Randy Orton RKO, but there weren't that many spots that were interesting. Let's be honest here. But again, like I don't see like here's like the change that I would want to see for War Games. I'd want to see if you can do it same War Games like stipulation where you start off with 1-on-1, then 2-on-1, then 2-on-2, 2-on-3, so on and so forth. And if you pin someone, they are eliminated, giving you an advantage for the end of the fight. So once all 10 people or once the last person comes in, then the next pin that happens is the winner. Whoever gets pinned loses. Whatever team gets pinned loses. I'd like that to be the stipulation. Have that be that way so that you have like something interesting happen. So that way it's possible that Seth Rollins gets eliminated before Randy Orton comes out. That way they are like on their heels sort of deal. Because right now all you've seen so far are faces winning these War Games matches. And like it's very predictable how this shit will go down, because otherwise if the heels win, then you gotta keep continuing the feud for some reason, just like WWE always does that. They never end a feud with the heel winning unless it's building up towards like a grandiose thing for WrestleMania where the heel ultimately wins, or some other face ultimately wins. Like that's what's happening with Gunther right now. Gunther the heel, I like him a lot. I cheer for him every single time he comes out in the ring. They're doing that right now with Gunther. They throw him out there and they have him win against a bunch of different faces. But ultimately, that's probably going to and lead up to him like losing his title sometime either in Royal Rumble or the WrestleMania. Either he's gonna lose it to like Chad Gable or like Tommaso Ciampa or some indie darling like Johnny Gargano, who I didn't see NXT, but I don't see why people like him so much. But that's probably again because I didn't watch NXT. Tommaso Ciampa, I see potential in him. I can see him beating Gunther, but they'd have to build him up a lot, honestly. But I can't wait for WrestleMania. I mean, like, what are you excited for? Like, what are you excited for WrestleMania? The Gunther losing his title? Are you excited for that? Are you excited for, like, Gunther potentially losing his title before then and then winning against Seth Rollins for his title? Are you excited for a cash-in? Are you excited for, like, Roman losing his title? I mean, we all know that Roman's going to lose his title at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes. We all know that's going to happen. It's bound to happen. This feud, this championship reign has gone over 1,000 days. They've done everything they could. I don't see why they wouldn't. I want to see as many surprises, and I love WrestleMania stages. WrestleMania stages, admittedly, are very good. They are admittedly very good, and I am excited to see that. I am excited. And then matches stages and matches sometimes they do pull out all the stops at WrestleMania. They do pull out all the stops. Production's great. They do try. The wrestlers do try a lot, and like they do kind of build towards. The problem is, man, like, oh my gosh, you already did Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns last year in LA in WrestleMania 39 or WrestleMania Goes Hollywood. I don't care. I don't give a shit about that. WrestleMania 39. You already did Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns then. Why wouldn't you just like do something new? Or why did you have him lose in the first place? Why didn't you have him win there? To get to the 1,000 days? To be a more marketable champion because of the 1,000 days? You've had him wrestle, like, you've had him defend his title like twice. 3 times or something since WrestleMania. You haven't done shit with him. And the bloodline right now is losing steam. The momentum's gone. I still believe that the best way to have Roman lose his championship was back at some time in Elimination Chamber with Sami Zayn. Have Sami Zayn win it. That's what I feel like was the best moment. Or like have him lose that Elimination Chamber and have that Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns match turn into a triple threat by Sami Zayn winning against Cody. Or something to get him in the main event of WrestleMania. Not the night 1 main event, the real main event, the night 2 main event of WrestleMania. Get him in that match and have him win against Roman Reigns. The momentum he had back then was unparalleled. It was unmatched. Cody Rhodes did not have that. He doesn't have it now. He doesn't have it back then. I gotta go, man. I love being your only viewer. I love one-on-one talk sometimes. See you next stream. I have notifications on. Bye. Oh my gosh. Thank you, man. See you, man. Oh my gosh. Oh, I gotta keep going because of the VOD that I'll keep up. I don't post often, so I'm sure some people, for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, watch Mushoku Tensei, watch anime, and like wrestling. I'm sure this is a random treat to you. But man, Sami Zayn had all the potential in the world to be a main event guy. Some people say that he isn't main event material, but with the momentum he had back then, with the momentum he had back then, that would have been an amazing moment. Cody Rhodes was predictable. It was sort of like I'm just going to say right now, that would have been Daniel Bryan-esque in terms of WrestleMania 30. That would have been a Daniel Bryan-esque moment with Sami Zayn back then. Or you could have had Sami lose to Roman again at WrestleMania 30 in a triple threat match with Cody involved. And then now have Cody wrestle him at WrestleMania 40. That way it's like you haven't seen the match before. Great. But now they're telling the storyline with the bloodline falling apart, and that's why Roman's going to lose and everything. That's why he's going to lose. And that's how things are going to go. Cody's going to win. Cody's going to prevail. He's going to finish his story. And that's how it's going to go. And then until then, we're going to hear a bunch of woes. It's going to be very annoying until then. We're going to see a bunch of that. And yeah, there's not much to look forward to in terms of WrestleMania, in terms of the main event. We all know how it's going to go. Sometimes predictable is good, like JD from New York says. Sometimes predictable is good, but like, dude, not in this case. Not when it's dragged out to this extent. Not when it's dragged out by a year. That shit's just annoying. It's too far. It's too far. Man, it's late. War Games match. Again, I still feel like you should be able to eliminate people before the final part of the War Games match. But whatever. Randy Orton came out. I popped. It was great. Randy Orton is still able to do all of his signature moves. He has a bunch of signature moves that are fantastic. I love Randy Orton's moveset. Dude, even when I play him in WWE 2K, he feels like one of the best wrestlers to play as. It looks great. His finishing move's great. His finishing move on Dominic Mysterio, that got over. The RKO on Dominic Mysterio. Sorry. RKO with Dominic Mysterio got over. The spot with JD McDonough. I feel like Randy Orton got a little bit late on that RKO. But imagine if you just whiffed the RKO and JD McDonough just landed flat on his face in the middle of the ring. Imagine if that shit just happened. That would have been fucking hilarious. Honestly, that would have been so fucking stupid. Anyway, they win with a lame ass crossroads, and that's the end of the pay-per-view. Oh yeah, CM Punk comes out. I ranted for 30 minutes about that. I'm not going to talk about that shit anymore. You got your stuff. I summarized the entire drama to the best of my ability. It's 3 years worth of drama. It's tough to summarize it all. And again, summing up, I don't feel like CM Punk deserves a job for the shit he pulled in AEW. I feel like he's too much of a liability for any wrestling company. And the drama it could bring you headaches sometimes with how stupid it is. But drama brings in ratings. Drama brings in attention. And I guess WWE is going to capitalize on that. Hopefully people are able to hold back his ego and prevent him from, hey, man, you're not going to be in the main event, man. Sorry. But it seems like CM Punk's going to be the Roman Reigns' next feud, probably. There's really no one else for Roman Reigns to fight, so at Royal Rumble, at least. So it's probably going to be Roman Reigns against CM Punk, if I had to guess. And then it's going to be CM Punk against Seth Rollins or Damian Priest, whoever. And if Damian Priest didn't cash in by then, he's probably going to cash in at WrestleMania. That's how it's going to go. And that's it for me. I'm not going to drag this shit out any longer. I got a video to edit. As the description says, I got a Mushoku Tensei video to make. Sylvie is best girl. That's how it's going to be, and that's how it always will be. And for those of you who watch wrestling and don't know what that shit means, watch Mushoku Tensei. It's good. Gets a little strange at times, but it's good. It's on Crunchyroll right now. It's a good show. My entire channel's built out around it. Anyway, like and subscribe if you want to see more wrestling related content. If this stream actually gets attention, I'd be surprised first off. And man, oh man, I'd be forced to watch Raw and SmackDown every week live in order to do it earlier. If this video gets attention, dude, don't torture me. Don't have me watch Raw and SmackDown every week. That's torturesome. Don't have me watch Collision and Dynamite every week. Dude, that is like 10 hours already of freaking wrestling. That's too much. It's too much for any person to handle. Any normal person to handle. Unless it's literally your job and you're like a reporter or something. Like, geez, bro, like 10 hours of wrestling. That is ridiculous, man. Anyway. I'm going to go. I got stuff to do. I got to sleep. See you guys.